Hi,
Welcome, sir.
thank you so much, Attorney JJ, and of course to the men and women of the Senior Law Center. And again, also to my co-speaker, Mohammed, good afternoon. And of course to all of the online viewers this afternoon. So may I now be allowed to share my deck?
There you go, sir.
Okay. Okay, so my topic for this afternoon will be more about surviving and thriving in this pandemic, no? Because we are now experiencing a major transformation that has been that was caused by this particular global health concern. Now, of course, we know for a fact that this pandemic or this crisis is not just about it's not focus on Philippines alone, but it is a global, a global issue. And practically, before they've been saying that the greatest disruptor of the banking of financial landscape would be the fintech players. But it turned out that the greatest disruptor of mankind is COVID-19. So this actually accelerated the digital transformation of all organizations across segments and sectors globally. Now, I just would like to share with you eh, the crisis response formula. I just formulated this because, of course, I am the one in charge of the digital portfolio of the entire RCBC. That includes the Yuchenko group of companies that has a wide array of businesses in the country. Now, I would like to coin it, or this equation: R3 plus ECQ plus S2 is equal to digital CAD. So what does it mean? So it means that during this crisis, we were able to come up with relevant, responsive, and realistic products and services, and be able to come up with practically enhancing our processes, trying to review all the things that we've been doing prior to COVID and how it will it be more relevant to the times. And of course, coming up with those offerings that would be easy, convenient, and of high quality. And of course, ensuring that we deploy this to the market the quickest possible time for us to be able to scale it immediately. And of course, the result would be to have, to generate digital consumer adoption and customer delight. Now, I also would like to share this with you in terms of having to identify the four imperatives or pillars in driving consumer adoption and scale. No? So I would want, while most players in the industry have been coining it or have been terming it as customer centric, I would want to call it as more human centric, because it really covers the totality of the human being, insofar as him or her as being the ultimate beneficiary of all of the things that we've been doing right now. So amongst this four would be data evidence driven. So in anything that you do, in making decisions, in crafting your strategy, and even uh, deciding on execution, should be based or hinge on data or evidence driven uh, you know proposition, right? So the thing here is now, because with the preponderance of all of this data, insights and data analytics, etc., so it's more of how you would now be able to leverage on those data and be able to mine them. Of course, you need to also ensure that you have relevance and impact, because given the fact that you have practically a number of players in the industry, your ultimate goal is on how you can be, how you be recognized by the consumer. And amongst the four, I would put the most in terms of premium on empathetic engagement. You really have to come up with a proposition that has a heart in it, right? Because you know that the culture of the Filipinos, I mean, in terms of the behavior, in terms of their preferences or tastes, etc. We love telenovelas. We love to watch emotion-filled movies, or um, you know other events, etc. and we're so attached with those things, right? So because we are a patriarchal society, we're so close with our families, etc. So we care with each one. So that's why it has to. That's why even in terms of execution or in terms of offering products and services to your clientele or to your target market, it has to evoke some emotions. And of course, awareness and education. You don't want to be your product to be a best kept secret. You want to tell the whole world about your product, about its features, its benefits, and its impact to your target audience. Now, I also would like to share this. I mean, I will be discussing about three imperatives. No? The first imperative is listen, listen, listen. So, listening to your customers would always be the primary, I think that will be the cardinal rule, right? Because you won't be in this, in any business if you are not listening to your customers. Because your customers would be the reason why you are into this business. Because you won't be able to have a successful product or service or organization without you, without any inputs or without you listening to the pain points, to the wants, to the needs of your individual customers. Now, just to show you, as an example, this would be an illustration of how listening to customers would really impact on your business. So during the time of when ECQ was declared on March 16, practically we had to we had to discard our our 2020 plans that were practically crafted at the last quarter of 2019. So, literally speaking, we have to throw it out of the window because those plans will no longer work in the COVID scenario, right? So what we did was to quickly pivot and come up with ways on how we can, ensure that it would be business as usual. So what with all of these numbers that you're seeing on your screen, we now see that have been exponential uh, growth in terms of adoption by the customers, no? Up to the point that we even hit a 4-digit growth rate. So these are some examples of how we were able to adjust to the times, because we know that majority of practically majority of all the branches or the branch networks of all banks in the country have been shut off during the hard lockdown, and people were really forced to go digital. And I was even asked that question before, that should there be post COVID, will people who tried going digital, will they still go back to the traditional way of doing transactions? My simple answer to that would be no, because once you try digital, it's really addictive, right? So because it's so easy, it's seamless, it's practically frictionless, convenient, and it has so much transparency. So just to show you, the good thing here is that we were able to prepare for the COVID-19, and the ATM Go, which is a handheld ATM POS device, have been deployed way ahead of time. And in fact, that time we were already at about in 71 out of 81 provinces nationwide. So with the COVID-19, all of those 1,800 terminals were already in those payout partners in those localities. And when government came up with a program on social amelioration program, the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino, or the CCT beneficiaries, were able now to get their cash through our payout partners. So any ATM card issued by any BankNet member will be accepted through this facility. And of course, a number of other digital channels have seen remarkable growth. Now, of course, when we talk about digitalization, we see so much, impact in terms of empowering, enabling, and engaging our customers, no? Especially the marginalized individuals in the remotest towns of the Philippines. And one thing that I'm very much fond of in terms of in terms of photos here, the one at the center, I call that the cash on a stick, no? because of social distancing, etc. This guy, who's actually one of our payout partners, came up with a very innovative, ingenious way of handing the cash to the CCT beneficiary. So with cash on a stick, and of course, even in rugged terrains and coastal towns, we also see our partners disbursing cash using our ATM Go terminals. No, so if you could see in that photo on your right, I mean, even I think a cow or a carabao also observing social distancing protocols. Now, this would be some photos to show you the actual on-ground payout of the CCT and even the social amelioration program in various locations in the country. So even in 4th to 5th class municipalities, for example, in Torrijos, Marinduque, in Alicia, Zamboanga, Sibugay, these are some of the locations that we never that are actually part of the top 20 poorest provinces in the country. And leading now to my second imperative is you have to stand out, right? Because we know that we have close to about 200 mobile apps in the Philippines. And of that, and on top of the 200, you now have about over 4 million mobile apps worldwide. So imagine how can you make yourself seen and noticed by the public, given so many of these, so many apps available in the market, right? So, and the third imperative is that you have to be bold, right? In terms of setting your goals, of course, setting your goals is one, but making your proposition really, something that is unique, something that is different from the rest, will really spell, your edge over the others. So that is something that you really have to think about. So you don't want, because number one, you want to be different. You want to provide a much, a unique proposition in terms of them having to experience a different kind of banking, for example. Of course, we have a lot of mobile banking apps right now, but still, you have to come up with something that would really make it stand out. And what we thought of as one of those differentiating factors would be to come up with the country's first Taglish inclusion super app, and that is Discartec, right? Because what we said as another rule is that bawal ang nosebleed, no? Meaning, so the first barrier to entry is awareness or understanding or being able for you to send the message across, right? So because if we are really promoting financial inclusion, financial education, digital literacy, we don't want this English terminologies or these phrases to be communicated to our mass market. Well, in fact, they don't even understand what those terminologies would mean, right? So it is more of how you can communicate that in an efficient, in a very easy manner, so that they'll be able to absorb what you are trying to say. So that's why we were able to come up with this one, and luckily the public, the consuming public, was able to warmly embrace this innovation. And just to just to show you briefly a video about Discartec. Please watch.
This is your partner sa pag-asenso. This is Discartec, a fusion of grit and enabling technologies the Filipino way. The country's first inclusion super app that hosts a suite of app-based financial services na nagbibigay ng hassle-free access sa mga financial services, pangkabuhayan, pati na rin healthcare access through our partner digital clinics nationwide through your smartphones sa angmang sulok ng bansa. Discartec features a fun, convenient, and accessible interface na hindi ka mano-nosebleed. Dahil ito ang kauna-unahang Taglish mobile app sa bansa. Dahil easy to use at easy to understand ito. Hindi lang yan. Depende sa diskarte mo Pwede mo nang planuhin ang mga pag-iipunan mo. Sa Discartec, may hashtag buhay ginhawa na gabay sa kung ano mang gusto mong life goals. Makabili ng motorsiklo, bagong cellphone, pang tuition ni Junior, o pang travel sa Japan o Boracay. Wala pang ilang minuto, meron ka ng Discartec Savings Account. Ang bilis, di ba? Pwede ka mag-deposit na kikita pa dahil sa mataas na interes, withdraw sa libo-libong outlets nationwide o cardless ATM withdrawal at mag-transfer ng pera anytime. Magbayad ka na rin ng mga bills o gaya ng inyong passport renewal, NBI clearance at iba pang government billers. And soon, pati loans and insurance meron na din ang Discartec. San ka pa? At dahil madiskarte ka, pwede mo ring pagkakitaan ito sa iyong barangay gamit ang cellphone mo. Pwede kang madiskarteng negosyante na serbisyohan ang mga kapitbahay mong wala pang smartphone o walang data access. Di na kailangang magpunta sa kung saan pa. Pwede nang makibayad sa iyo ng utility bills or government payments o magpa-load kasama na e-game pins. At kumita ng extra at marami pang iba. E di, sang ka pa? Lahat kasama. You know? And later on, magkakaroon na rin ng skills marketplace to help promote ang pangkabuhayan mo. This is Discartec.
Okay, so you have seen a number of features in the app because, again, as I've said, it is the presentation or the packaging is really as a super app. So, of course, it is a deposit account. It's a savings account that earns for the for the user 3.25% interest. Of course, the usual bills payment and e-load. We will also be introducing loans by next month in partnership with various government and private lenders. And you could also actually generate extra income out of this because we have a member get member where for every successful referral that you make, you earn 30 pesos that is automatically credited to your basic deposit account. And the successful referee also gets 10 pesos. So it now becomes a concept of bayanihan. And of course, you can do cash in and cash out across around 30,000 touch point locations around the country. That would include 7-Eleven and Bite Center, among others. And of course, we also launched the insurance, the micro-insurance product where, you just imagine you can now buy an insurance protection for just 20 pesos and you will be covered for a period of 6 months. For whatever, for whatever eventuality, you will be able, your beneficiaries will get 20,000 pesos. And even our riders, our commuters, even there is a dengue cash allowance where for 300 pesos for covered for 1 year, you get 10,000 pesos. If you contract, if you are been diagnosed with dengue, you don't need to be hospitalized. You just need to have a doctor's certificate to show that you have contracted dengue, and you will be given that 10,000 medical assistance. And of course, telemedicine, because knowing that most of our, most Filipinos are still afraid to get out of their homes, they will now be able to get this, this service for a period of 12 months plus another additional 3 months for only about 750 pesos. So just imagine how much would be a doctor consult right now. No? A doctor's consult right now would cost you at least 1,000 per consult, diba? Ito unlimited consultation for a period of 15 months, no, in the confines of your home. So just use your mobile phone or email, and etc. etc. And of course, we have QR code for payments, no? And in fact, this photo that you are seeing right now has been featured by Itbulaga because she is one of the beneficiaries of the DSWD social amelioration program. So what she did with that amount was that she started with a very small sari-sari store and made use of the Discartec app for her business as well in selling airtime load. Okay, so again, in terms of empowerment would really have to start from home, right? So in fact, these are my kasambahay, and once you download the app, you can create the digital savings account in just less than 3 minutes. No, with no initial deposit, no maintaining balance, no dormancy fees, and your deposits are insured with PDIC. No, and in fact, the one at the center, no, practically came up with her own micro business, and she's selling, load and airtime load and bills payment. She's in fact she's earning 500 pesos per day right now. No. Now, of course, even no less than DSP Governor Diokno, tweeted or made a social post, of course, congratulating the product itself, it being one of the initiatives that would further promote financial inclusion or inclusive digital finance. No? And just another, as I've said, no, among the four pillars on scaling consumer adoption is empathetic engagement, right? So of course, this is something that is really closest to our hearts, no, on how we can really provide assistance to our less fortunate, brothers and sisters. So this is actually our way of helping government in quickly disbursing the social protection, this is the cash emergency subsidy for about 18 million families in the country. So just to give you an example, so there has been, this is really a blockbuster thing on ground during the on-ground payout. So we even those the senior citizens who are not able to really line up and go to the payout centers, we really have to go to their respective places just to provide the needed cash for them. Now, also another set of photos, this would be, a way by which we are facilitating the disbursements across several areas in the country. And again, in partnership with our various payout collaborators, we have, various rural banks, cooperatives, MFIs, even pawn shops and sari-sari stores. Now, when we participated with, in the DSWD Ayuda, disbursement, we call it Ayuda Arrancada. So we have disbursed close to 100% already in terms, and also in terms of creating, restricted transactional accounts, because some of them are not do not even have mobile phones. No? So that's why you really have to adapt to those requirements. And just to show you some demographics, 60% of our, of this Discartec users are female. And this is also interesting that, 2/3 of our base would be coming from outside Metro Manila. And the bulk of our users would be in the age range of 21 to 30 years old, at 56%. So it's really meant for the Gen Z, the Generation Z, and it's really meant for those people who are no longer so used to going to branches or brick and mortar. So that's why I said that we have now transitioned from bricks to clicks. And of course, when we did, again, as I've said, you have to listen to your customers. You have to be bold. You have to stand out. So of course, we have to leverage on social media. And in fact, we have, in some of our major social media posts, we generated over 3.5 million views. We have, over 20,000 daily web visitors and about 65% monthly active users. And in fact, I just would like to point point to you. I mean, this two squares here. This would be the positive sentiments. So this would be on social listening. So from the time that we launched this product, July 10 to August 5, it's at 94.5%. But from September 14 to 21, it has further improved to 98.6%. And of course, what Mohammed said, about having no branches, because practically your branch would be just your mobile phone, in terms of you being able to bank through this Discartec. In this particular case, we also have leverage on technologies. So we have our chatbot as well. So again, our chatbot is in Tagalog or in Taglish, so to make sure that they would further understand the processes or on how they can quickly engage and resolve any issue or concern that they may have. Now, also in partnership with various government agencies such as BSP, DTI, Small Business Corporation, and the and Insurance Commission, we also came up with, having to engage our 1.3 million sari-sari stores nationwide. That would include 7 to 8 million estimated informal home-based online sellers. No? So if you are looking at, for some merchants, you would normally see some signs saying payments accepted here. So in our case, in again, to keep to our, in keeping with our thrust of making it in Taglish, instead of payments accepted here, we term it pakisuyo dito, because we know that pakisuyo is actually our, our Filipino trait of showing malasakit with each other, no, or care with each other. And yung pakisuyo coming from pakikisama, pakikisalamuha, etc. So paki-load, pakibayad, pakipadala, pakibili, pakihulog, or pakikuha. So this, you will now be seeing a lot of this in most sari-sari stores, or even in palengkes, so nationwide. Ayan. So this would be some of the examples that we have done thus far, no? And of course, after we launched in July, so after 2 months, or now barely 3 months, actually at the end of August, we hit our 2 million mobile app downloads, and we were also surprised that we emerged to be the #1 in terms of ranking in the Google Play Store, no, and #2 in the App Store. And there was a fintech report that was issued, or that was published by Fintech Singapore, saying that this would be to show you how the rankings were in terms of usage penetration from February to August of 2020. So we were delighted that when we launched in July, we ranked #4, and immediately we hit the top spot the following month. And of course, as I've said, no, having to let your target market know about your product. So we're also aggressive in terms of doing our merchandising across the country. No, so and now we are seeing that even sari-sari store, or those people who are customers in the wet market, or public markets, are now using QR codes of Discartech. And of course, with all of these things, we have recently won 2 awards as Best Digital Bank from Alpha Southeast Asia, and we just received news yesterday from the Global Economics that we also got the Most Innovative Internet Banking Services Provider Award for the Philippines in 2020. And okay, wrapping up, so just would like to share this with you, because I read this book about a week ago about cost. The title of the book is Cost Ovation. So apparently, innovation that gives your customers exactly what they want and nothing more. So ito yung sabi ko nga when we talk about Discartech, simple, sakto, sigurado. Okay, and of course, in terms of today's key takeaways, because I started with an equation or a formula, I also would want to end with this one. No? DQ times AC. That means every player or every employee in your organization should have this one: digital quotient and agile culture. And lastly, if I may share with you our digital mantra, no? Our better normal mantra in the organization. No? So it's an acronym that says that acronym for Gear Up. No? Get it done now in terms of making things happen, execute seamlessly by way of scaling it exponentially, anticipate things, or by adapting or iterating ahead, or practically pivoting. Remove egos. No? You have to foster humility, unite to win. There should be no silos. There should be no silos. We have to synergize and collaborate. And of course, promote positivity. Hindi yung positive na COVID. Promote positivity amongst the members of the organization. And of course, the can-do attitude. And with that, thank you so much, and good afternoon.